Hi YouTube, welcome back to ONAFARM Ohio. Thought I would give you an update on our freezer and pantry challenge that we had for week 2. So for Monday, January 8th, we served lasagna with green beans. Tuesday, January 9th, we had chicken and dumplings served with my canned pear sauce. For Wednesday, January 10th, we ended up having a wrestling meet. So we had leftovers. Thankfully, we had enough lasagna left over. Thursday, January 11th, we ended up with, we had leftovers again. We had rehearsal. So we had chicken noodle soup. And then Friday, we had plans to go out for dinner with a friend. So Friday, January 12th was dinner out. Saturday, January 13th, we pulled some steaks out of the freezer after a day at a wrestling invitational. And we had steak and au gratin potatoes and corn. And then plans for Sunday, January 14th, we will be going away all day for a RV show in Cleveland. And while we're gone, ham and bean soup will be cooking in the crock pot or the roaster all day. So those were our meals for week 2 of the challenge. It's a cold, snowy Sunday. Great day for me to cook up some of my items from my freezers to make some good stock. So I went ahead and I pulled out the turkey carcass from Thanksgiving. I've got those miscellaneous pieces of chicken, necks, back, bones. I'm going to throw that in there. Got some onion cuttings and skins and plenty of miscellaneous pieces of celery. I'm going to throw that in my 22-quart roaster along with some water and make some good stock. And then I think we'll use that stock later today to make some chicken noodle soup. Part of my January freezer pantry challenge was to get rid of some of the celery that I had purchased over the holidays. I just couldn't pass up the price over Christmas, but a lot of it I didn't end up using for one reason or another, and I'm definitely not going to throw any of it out. So what I decided to do is to go ahead and get everything chopped up and kind of take a little inventory of what I got here with the celery. So I did chop up 3 bunches of celery, and some of that's going to go into my homemade chicken noodle soup for supper tonight. Those were the pieces that were still pretty crisp, and that will go in with the chicken noodle soup. Some of the pieces that aren't quite as crisp, I'm going to go ahead and stick those in the freezer, and I will use those for another batch of stock at another time. Some of the pieces were a little less than worthy. Those will go out to the chickens for scraps, and then the remaining parts from the celery are the celery leaves. And I've got a delicious chicken dumpling recipe that I use, that I'm going to chop up the celery leaves and use those in the chicken and dumplings recipe later this week. Getting ready to roast the chickens in the oven for our chicken noodle soup for supper tonight. 2 chickens from the freezer. Okay, so after a great supper of homemade chicken noodle soup, I've got plenty left over. Just keep in the freezer for us. I even have this big pan full of stock that I will put into containers and stick out in the freezer. And then I'll be ready anytime I need some chicken stock cubes. So I would say it was a success. Hi YouTube, it's Monday, January 8th, week 2 of the Pantry Freezer Challenge. So for our meal tonight on Monday, we're having lasagna. Well, looky there, I had enough ingredients for my lasagna to make 2 pans. It's Tuesday, January 9th, and tonight for supper, we'll be having chicken and dumplings. This is our steak for Saturday night's meal, plus beef heart that Spencer cut up. They're going to throw this on the grill. Here's our steak dinner for Saturday night. It's January 13th, and we've spent the day at a wrestling invitational out of town. So we got back kind of late, but we did plan ahead and get the steaks out of the freezer to get them thawing out. So I just wanted to show you rib steak, and it's one steak taking up the entire plate. So this is going to be divided into two of us, and that's what you get when you purchase home-raised beef. We've got some scallop potatoes. These are the boxed potatoes. These are the other steaks. And this is the heart. So usually the men like to grill this over an open fire and grunt like cavemen and Neanderthals and everything, but for whatever reason they decided to get a little chunk of the heart out. So this is beef heart. They're going to munch on that along with the steaks. Then we've got some corn from the freezer. So that's our meal for Saturday night. Oh, look at them all coming around. Look at the beggars. Oh, now that's funny.
No. No. Oh.
Don't tease her. Oh, Delaney's got the steak. Laney, what you got? Get out. Out.
Take the picture.
I'm recording, you dork.
Oh.
Get out.
This just in from the British Broadcasting Channel.
Out.
The chicken noodle soup in its natural habitat.
Out.
Sitting on the kitchen, waiting to be eaten. The labels. White steak.
Get out of my kitchen.
I'm just trying to throw my trash back.
The natural Kobe
there it goes.
in a wild habitat.
Get out of my kitchen.
Throwing garbage all over the city.